Trash belongs with trash. My father announced it into the microphone while dangling the old yellowed passbook my grandfather had secretly handed me moments earlier. He did not just mock it. He humiliated it. He dropped the fragile book straight into a bucket of melting ice and champagne as if it were nothing more than soggy napkins from the bar. The crowd erupted into laughter. Glasses clinked. Someone even cheered. I did not scream. I did not cry. I did not move at first. I plunged my hand into the freezing water instead, soaking my arm, ruining my wedding dress, and pulling out those fragile pages while champagne soaked into the paper. I walked out of that room without looking back, without saying a word, without giving him the satisfaction of seeing me break. Before I tell you the secret hiding inside those wet ruined pages and how I used it to dismantle my father's fake empire, tell me in the comments what is the cruelest thing a family member has ever done to you at a celebration. I read every single story. 3 days later, I walked into the First National Bank in downtown Boston. The lobby was lined with marble floors, glass walls, and hushed whispers that felt worlds away from the chaos I had left behind in Newport. I held the passbook inside a plastic Ziploc bag because the pages were still warped, stained, and sticky with champagne residue, looking exactly like the trash my father had called it. I stood there in my thrifted coat, nervous and invisible, waiting for the young teller to stop typing. Her name tag said Emily. She looked no older than 20. I slid the bag across the polished counter and said I needed to check the balance on this because it had been a gift. She picked it up carefully with 2 fingers, her nose wrinkling slightly, probably expecting an error message or a $0 balance. She typed in the account number. Then she froze. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. She blinked. She leaned closer to the screen. The color drained from her face. Her voice dropped to a whisper as she said, "Ma'am, please wait here and do not leave." She did not press a silent alarm, but she might as well have. Within seconds the branch manager rushed out from his office, followed by a man in a tailored suit I later learned was the regional director. They did not look at my coat. They did not look at the bag. They looked at me like I was someone they had been waiting for. "Miss Mercer," the director said gently as he gestured toward a heavy steel door at the back of the branch. "Please come with us. We have been expecting this account to be claimed for a very long time." They led me into a private viewing room that smelled like dust, paper, and old records. The door shut with a solid metallic click behind us. As they went to retrieve the file, I sat in the leather chair and closed my eyes. Suddenly I was not in a bank. I was 12 years old again, kneeling on the hardwood floor of my father's study. Richard sat in his leather armchair swirling scotch in his glass while watching me scrub the floor. He had spilled it on purpose. I knew he had, but the rules were simple in our house. Girls clean, boys conquer. My brother Hunter was stretched across the sofa laughing at a video game, his muddy shoes resting on the table I had just polished. "You missed a spot, Alyssa," Richard said calmly. He never yelled. He preferred an audience for his cruelty. He liked to watch the light leave your eyes. It was his private theater. When Grandpa Samuel tried to help me stand, Richard's voice turned sharp as a blade. "Touch that rag, old man, and I will put you in a state home so fast you will not even have time to pack your pills." I scrubbed until my knuckles bled that day. I scrubbed because I believed my only value came from how much pain I could absorb without complaining. The heavy clank of the vault door brought me back to the present. I opened my eyes. I was no longer that child on the floor. I was the woman holding the match. The director placed a thick file folder on the table and opened it slowly. "Your grandfather did not just open a savings account, Miss Mercer," he said. "In 1982 he established a Totten Trust. He was an early investor in Apple and Microsoft. He reinvested every dividend and never touched the principal for over 40 years. He turned the document toward me. The current value of the trust legally payable to you upon his death is $12,400,000. The number sat on the page in black ink, absolute and undeniable. $12,400,000. I stared at it. I thought about the champagne bucket. I thought about my father laughing into the microphone calling this fortune trash. He had held over $12 million in his hand and thrown it away because he was too arrogant to look inside the cover. "Is there anyone else listed on the account?" I asked calmly. Clinical. No, the director said. Just you. It is entirely yours. I touched the warped passbook gently. It was not just money. It was leverage. It was protection. It was power. And for the first time in my life I knew exactly where to aim it. My husband Luke did not look up when I walked through the apartment door. He was hunched over his laptop at the kitchen island surrounded by printed spreadsheets and financial statements. The air felt charged, thick with tension and anticipation. Luke is not just a data analyst. He is a forensic architect of secrets. He finds fractures in foundations that others do not even know exist. It is not an empire, Alyssa, he said, finally turning the screen toward me. His voice was flat and precise. It is a Ponzi scheme built on bridge loans and ego. I expected to see wealth. I expected to see stability. Instead I saw red numbers. Massive red numbers. He is insolvent, Luke continued, tapping the screen. Foreclosure proceedings on the Newport mansion started 3 weeks ago. The family trust he brags about is empty. He has been cycling the same $50,000 between 6 shell accounts to create the illusion of liquidity. And here is the worst part. He is under audit. The IRS sent a notice of deficiency last month. I stared at the data. The man who had thrown my grandfather's legacy into a champagne bucket was not a titan of industry. He was a drowning man flailing through debt. He did not want money for comfort. He needed money to stay out of prison. My phone rang. It was him. I put it on speaker. Luke stopped typing. Alyssa, my father's voice filled the room. No apology. No hesitation. Just entitlement. I have been thinking about that shack your grandfather left you. The cottage. What about it? I asked calmly. My hand rested on the table to steady myself, but my voice was ice. I am going to do you a favor, he said. I spoke to my real estate attorney. We can liquidate it fast. I will handle everything. You will get fair market value and I will invest the proceeds into the family business so you actually get a return. You are a nurse, honey. You do not understand property taxes or maintenance. I am trying to save you the headache. He wanted the cottage. It was the only tangible thing Samuel had left me besides the passbook. It was worth maybe $300,000. Nothing to a billionaire, everything to a desperate fraudster. I am not selling, Dad, I said. Silence. Then the mask fell. You listen to me, he snarled. That old man was mentally incompetent when he signed that deed. I have witnesses ready to testify that you manipulated a senile geriatric into signing over family assets. If you do not sign that transfer paperwork by Friday, I will sue you for elder abuse. I will drag you through probate court until you are bankrupt. Do you understand me, Alyssa? You are out of your depth. He was not protecting me. He was hunting liquidity, any asset he could seize, sell, and funnel into his collapsing empire. I understand perfectly, I said. Good, he replied. I will have the papers sent over. The line went dead. I looked at Luke. He was not afraid. He was smiling, not warm, sharp. Richard thought he was bullying a helpless daughter. He had no idea he had just handed us the blueprint to his own destruction. I waited 24 hours before calling him back. Silence amplifies desperation. Luke and I did not panic. We prepared. We did not hire a lawyer to fight the sale of the cottage. We hired a graphic designer to recreate investment documents. When I finally dialed his number, I summoned the 12-year-old girl terrified of spilling scotch. Dad, I whispered when he answered. I am sorry, I hung up. I did not know what to say. You should be sorry, he snapped, but the edge was softer. He was listening. It is not just the cottage, I said, trembling. I went to the bank. The passbook. It was not empty. Silence. How much, he asked. Greed seeped through the line. 12 million, I whispered. 12 million. But Dad, I do not know what to do. The bank manager talked about audits and taxes and I think I am in trouble. If the IRS finds out, they will take half. I do not know how to hide it. Perfect bait. I handed him everything he believed about me. Weak, naive, powerless, and everything he needed. Liquidity. Do not sign anything with the bank, Alyssa, he said instantly. Do not talk to lawyers. Bring everything to me. I can shelter it under the family trust. Classify it as a pre-existing asset. It is complicated, but I can make the tax liability disappear. I am doing this for you, sweetheart. To protect you. Protect me was what he meant. Can we do it tonight, I asked. No, he replied too fast. He needed time to prepare forged documents. I have the Man of the Year Gala Saturday in Boston. Bring everything there. We will sign in the VIP suite before the speeches. I will announce the expansion of the family fund. It will look legitimate. He wanted the audience. He wanted applause. He wanted glory. Okay, I said softly. Thank you, Dad. Thank you for fixing this. That is what fathers are for, he replied. Luke printed the documents we would actually present. They looked exactly like real transfer forms. Same fonts, same headers, same seals, but the fine print was not a transfer. It was an affidavit of sole liability tying Richard retroactively to 2 decades of shell companies and offshore accounts. He thought he was reeling in a clueless daughter. He had invited the executioner to his own party. The gala was held in the grand ballroom of the Fairmont Copley Plaza. Crystal chandeliers spilled light across old money and political power. I arrived at 7:55. I was not wearing the beige clothes my father preferred. I was wearing a structured red dress that cost more than my car. I walked through the crowd. Not around it. I saw Hunter near the bar laughing too loudly, already drunk. He did not notice me. He was too busy pretending to rule a kingdom that never existed. Richard stood near the stage flanked by senators. He glowed with confidence. When he saw me, his smile stayed fixed but his eyes sharpened. You were late, he hissed. Do you have it? I handed him the folder. He snatched it. Is it all there, he asked. Yes, Dad. Transfer authorizations. Power of attorney. Everything. It puts the entire $12 million under the family trust. You just need to sign as sole trustee. He opened the folder. He did not read. He did not question. He saw the signature line and that was enough. A smart man would have noticed the title Affidavit of Historical Management and Sole Liability. A smart man would have questioned why the dates went back 20 years. But Richard was not smart. He was arrogant. He believed no one beneath him could ever threaten him. He signed. Go sit in the back, he ordered. I have an announcement. I photographed the signature page and sent it. Luke uploaded it to the DOJ secure whistleblower portal. Moments later, Richard took the microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we launch a historic expansion of the Mercer Family Foundation. A $12 million investment in this city's future. He was confessing live. My phone buzzed. IRS confirmation received. Case active. The screen behind him flickered. DOJ seal. Federal asset seizure in progress. Silence crashed through the ballroom. Agents entered. Richard Mercer stepped away from the podium. Do you know who I am, he shouted. Yes, the agent replied. You are the sole trustee who accepted liability for 20 years of unreported offshore accounts. He turned to me screaming, she tricked me. Handcuffs snapped shut. Cameras flashed. The empire collapsed in rented tuxedo fabric. The VIP suite door slammed. Hunter stood there shaking, holding a steak knife. Luke stepped in front of me. Hunter lunged. Luke twisted his wrist. The knife fell. When agents forced the door open, my brother was sobbing, not from pain but from irrelevance. 3 weeks later, I sit on my cottage porch in Newport. Salt air, coffee steam, roof fixed, ivy cleared. Richard denied bail, assets frozen, empire gone. Hunter took a plea, no inheritance, only work. I burn the affidavit. I do not need it. The government already has everything. Luke sits beside me. The trust is complete, he says. What do you want to do with $12 million? Nothing, I say. Let it grow. I am still a nurse. Still Alyssa. Money is not power. It is protection. Family is not blood. It is who stands with you when the vault opens.